All right, friend, on this episode, we're talking about the unique opportunity that you have this spring, okay? You set some goals this new year. I know you did. And some of you are thinking, it's too late. I don't have any more time. I might as well just forget about it. Or you absolutely have forgotten about it. I'm here to tell you it's time to do some spring cleaning and take advantage of the unique opportunity that you have this time of year to make your goals happen.
All right, Lego.
HP.
Holla, holla.
And Sam back in his house.
Trying to be so
I know.
gangster.
You know, I think people would miss it if I didn't try to be as cool as you. They would miss it. You know,
You're cool, baby.
in my own way.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Spring is in the air. And we're talking about spring cleaning your life and your business.
Yeah.
Getting your act together. You know, one thing I love about spring is I honestly feel like it's almost a second new year. You are just far enough into the year to be able to pivot and course correct and still reaching some pretty big goals. Not so far along that you're like, oh, can I even do this? Like, you know, we're just a few months into the year, and it's a really great point in people's lives. Like, you know, everyone knows spring cleaning, you know, everybody knows, like, at that point, there's this, for most people, there's kind of this surge of energy, and the air feels crisp and light, and the sun's out, and the birds are chirping, and it just feels like the right time to kind of like get your house in order. So when I was growing up, my mom always did spring cleaning. Like, it was coming out of hibernation. Really. And I think a lot of people, they picture themselves at the new year, like just going hard and coming out swinging. And they don't realize you're still in the winter season of your life. Literally, you're in winter. And what everybody wants to do, and I think you have to be really wise to know how to work against it. The power that winter has over us is to put all the layers on, snuggle up, stay warm and cozy, and still kind of stay in that hibernation. So with spring, we start kind of removing the layers, and we feel a little lighter, and we have the renewed energy to actually come out and attack your goals and things in your life a little bit harder than actually what most people can come up with at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I have these fond memories of my mama just getting this surge of energy with all of us 7 kids in the house. And all of a sudden I'm like, who are you, lady? Like, she's pulling down things from the attic and pulling out all the things from the rooms, and just a whole different level of cleaning. And that's what I think about when spring comes around, I look at not just my house, like, is your house in order?
Yeah.
You know, is your business in order? Is your health in order? What things are your relationships in check?
So from New Year's to now, or, you know, New Year's to spring cleaning, it's kind of making sure you're in check.
It's a refinement or pivot.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, if they really, by that point, most people have given up on their goals because they feel the shame. You know,
we owned a gym, and that's when the gyms would drop off, usually around that time.
Yeah. But I'm going to take health, for instance. Okay. So many people we know, like over 85% of people make some kind of health related New Year's resolution. By the end of January, more than half of those people have fallen off. Mm-hmm. And then you come to March and April, you've got a fraction of people, it's a very small fraction of people that are still going with it. But what people didn't realize, if you just woke up and said, hey, okay, well, maybe it's March, maybe it's April, maybe you've got the spring break trip coming up and you don't look exactly like you thought you would in January going into that trip. But do you know where you'd be in June if you just started taking your goals seriously now? If you actually looked at the previous months and said, okay, well, here's where I went wrong. And people have a very hard time doing that because it means that we have to take extreme ownership. But it shouldn't be a hard thing to do, because if you can name it, you can claim it, you can change it, you know? So it's a great time to just for self-reflection, to look back and be like, okay, I got off track, or I didn't even get on the track because I failed to do X, Y, and Z. All right, let's do X, Y, and Z. By June, I'll be 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 pounds down.
Right.
And feeling even better versus let's just waste the rest of the year and we'll just reset this goal January.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I like what you're talking about with the spring cleaning. The way I'm kind of framing it up in my mind is to that point is most people make New Year's resolutions. They don't keep it. And it's that trap of next year. Well, what you're saying is don't get into the trap of next year, is reassess. Maybe you need to refine. Maybe you need to up your actions to hit the goal by when, if it's the end of the year or before the next new year. Then I can relate, because like I was very reluctant to put, for the 99th time, full transparency, to learn Spanish, because I'm decent, like I can get by, but I want to be very conversational, like fast paced. I got to ask people to repeat themselves now. I got to ask them to speak slower, and I can get by, but I want to be able to roll with it. And so I got a little lazy, but I finally put it down as a New Year's resolution this year. And I found myself hitting it every morning, but I found I've been going now, I was skipping. Then I'd go a day and I'd skip, because it starts to get harder actually is what happens. It starts to get even just more complicated because I'm getting to that place.
Yeah, the beginner's luck wears off.
Well,
the newness, the easy stuff.
But the good news is I refined it, because I said, well, I put it down, and I was very reluctant to, because I want to make sure I followed through, because I like to collect my W's and get my wins. So this is going to be the year, and that I, move that forward. But without that spring cleaning and that mindset of saying, hey, let me refine it, instead of saying I'll start again next year, it would just be this cyclical process. So what, asking those of you who are listening is like, what have you done that you keep pushing over to the next year, the trap of tomorrow, the trap of next month, or the trap, it's like, hey, let's take it, let's assess the situation, and what can we refine? Like, what can we refine to, it's the year's so young still, right?
Oh yeah.
So young.
Definitely.
Whether it's health, whatever.
Business. Removing distractions, that's going to be something actually that is going to be this time of year. You have a better chance of doing that with some spring cleaning in your life versus New Year's resolutions, because New Year's, you haven't even gotten into the year. You don't know what distractions you've created for yourself, what distractions you need to just kind of eliminate or get rid of,
Well, I think that's good. It's like yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like distractions could be people. Maybe there's people you should have cut loose or limited association with a long time ago. Or maybe you have limited some association with. Maybe you need to limit a little bit more, because maybe they're just being a negative distraction. Yeah. Or maybe not even negative. Maybe it's just distracting you from your purpose and what you want to achieve or accomplish or whatever. Maybe you need to put yourself in different rooms. So that's another part of it.
Or conversations too, even. Because last year, I started really attacking my health even more so, was getting into running even more so. And I was I'm so glad I did this too, because again, didn't know I was going to be pregnant. Thanks, Harold.
I got you.
Thank you, Harold. So excited to meet this baby. But with that being said, I turned into a different person, because it was actually probably around spring that I was like, okay, I've been running X amount of time each week, not quite enough to hit the goals that I have for my running goals that I had. And I'm like, I'm only lifting 2 to 3 days a week. And I really had a goal to put on more muscle mass in my lower body. And I'm not going to hit that unless I change that. So I made a pivot and I added an extra day of lifting. And some days that meant that for me personally, it was better if I got up and went to the gym at like 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's not something you were used to me doing. No. So if I just got up one day and just wasn't there when you're used to me being the one that's like filling the waters or starting the lunches, and I just wasn't there, you wouldn't have been mentally prepared to support me in that goal. You would have been like, oh, okay, wait, where is she? I slept till my normal time or whatever, and nothing is done. And is she coming back? What is going on here? So there can be a pivot in the goals, but also maybe there's got to be a pivot in the conversations. So, going to you and being like, hey, I want to do this. It's better for me, I think, if I get up and go early. So I'll let you know on those days, can you help with the lunches or something like that? I'll be back at this time to take them to school. So it's a partner communication too, because sometimes people, they make these pivots in their goals, but they don't clue in the necessary people that are going to be a part of helping them execute that without, you got families, if you got kids, there's a lot of other things that are involved in that. You have to really think through these processes sometimes. And I think it's why sometimes some people just fall flat on their faces coming out of the new year, because they set these big goals and they don't realize how they are attached to other people too,
Yeah. So, I think it's a great topic. And I think if people take anything from it is the awareness to break a habit loop of creating your New Year's resolutions and then just saying, oh, well, I failed again. Right. Because when you begin to feel that incongruent, your subconscious begins to tell you, oh, you collected an L. Oh, you're going to lose again, and you're going to lose again. So it's a great opportunity to reassess, become aware, break a habit loop, and get a W, because the year's not too late.
Get that win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
It's a wrap.
I like it. The wrap.
All right, friends, remember, you deserve to live the life you desire. So go out and create your new American dream.